And we are live. What is up, everyone? Welcome on in. Happy Tuesday. It's a Tuesday, right? Anyway, welcome on in. All right. So yeah, we continue Ace Attorney tonight. Yeah. So yeah, it's my last day of leave, and yeah, back to work tomorrow. So I might as well like play this. I just wanted to play something lighter tonight that wouldn't really stress me out. So I loaded this up. Yo, J Bats, what's up? Thank you for the lurk. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Hope you have a good. Yeah, thanks for dropping by. Really do appreciate it. I know you're probably gonna go to work, so yeah, enjoy the lurk. Anyway, all right. So as of last time, we were in the boat, and yeah, Miss Ballerina got caught, and we're gonna continue. So yeah, let's do this. Alright, hope all my audio's working well. So anyway, how's everyone? I hope everyone's doing well. What do we have again? The court record, we have the paper seal, we have the photograph, we have 2 articles, and we have the diary. Alright, so I think we haven't talked to Miss Ballerina yet. So alright. Audio's fine. Yeah, no worries, J-Bats. Thank you very much. Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night? One of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating breakfast. The man who died, he was a friend of mine. Oh, that's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night? Perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example. Perhaps people talking. Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest. Perhaps its steam engine exploded. Oh my god. This guy is so over the top, and I'm actually annoyed at him already. Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened. Miss Pavlova, is there anything you can tell us? I don't know. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done and whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me. Oh, sorry, just give me a sec. Oh my god. Oh, I see. Running away. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Novovich Ballet? Yes. I'm traveling to Great Britain, and from there, I want to go to America. America. I'll never dance again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I will start a new life. Why? You wish to forget a challenging proposition. When you have that striking tiara as a reminder. But the tiara is mine. I need it to live. I need it for the money. I have no money of my own. Yep. The Novovich Ballet gives us only a little food and water. And we must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed, it would have killed me. So you ran away to protect yourself? Yes, and the crew of this ship, they have all been kind to me. Because they were also Russian. They let me come on board and they said I could hide in this cabin. If that is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova, it creates a most intriguing conundrum. Oh no. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruhodo? Me? Oh well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation. To what conundrum? I'm not sure. Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. According to this, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet. It was all planned. It was all planned. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the SS Buria stopped by no port last night. So how is it, pray, that you come to be aboard? she faked her own thing. Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when we mentioned that. It was just after asking about when the occupant of this cabin came aboard. Stroganoff, that is not your business. Yes, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something. An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage. Sorry, what is that? It's how the Russian newspapers described one of my performances. So it was faked. And that is how I came here too. I descended from the heavens because I am an angel. Chopper? Was there a chopper in the 1900s? Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid. Mr. Sholmes once said, I can never resist the touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same. A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection. Words once said about Miss... Oh my god, he's so full of himself. I hate him. A quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement for the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, in fact. Yes, Mr. Showy. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. So the friend you mentioned is inside your traveling case, is that right? It's a pet. So it's either a dog or a cat. I'm betting it's a cat. Because it would be too obvious if people think it's a dog. And I think animals are allowed on board according to the rules of passage. Oh, please don't tell any of the crew. If they found my precious, then the burly Russians would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard. Ah! So reassuring, Mr. Sholmes. But what sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? It's a cat. Maybe an adorable little rabbit. Nuh-uh. Ha, you credit Russia as a land with small rabbits, do you? Don't they have small rabbits there then? You may well ask. I have no idea. I hate this pose. I just like Mr. Police Officer with yes! You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of young ballerina's friends. Isn't it obvious it must be a chicken? Yes, it's a chicken. No, it's a parrot. It's the parrot from Ace Attorney 1. A rousing wake-up call, daily fresh eggs, and when adversity strikes, it can satisfy the needs of sustenance, so you'd eat your friends. Well, it would appear this friend's identity is a closely guarded secret not to be revealed. She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. There's something I should like to show her, I think. Maybe she might be able to shed some light on it. Okay. So, alright. I think... Should we show the photograph or the diary? Because the photograph contains Russian words, but the diary contains Speckled band, which I think is the tiara. So let's show the photograph first. Miss Pavlova, would you take a look at this? ... I don't know. Okay, it's not the photograph. It's the diary. With the Speckled band, which I think is the tiara. Okay, it is. This is the diary of my friend who passed away. His diary? Yes, and he wrote in it last night before he died. Something a little unusual. It reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. And then a few minutes later, 1:35 a.m. what looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Oh, so she came from the vents. Speckled band, I don't understand. It's strange, isn't it? But the ventilator he mentions joins to this cabin, you see. It's up there on the wall. In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together. Oh. Miss Pavlova, has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you, or the whistling sound perhaps? No, I don't know anything. Knock knock. It's Comrade. Excuse me, Mr. Roylott. Wow, she's fast. Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to Captain's quarters at once, please. Alright, I will come now. Yes, comrade. You must leave now. Oh no, it's fine. Don't mind us. Yes, please don't worry yourself, Mr. Roylott. Get out! The passenger said out, or you want me to throw you out? Ugh, it looks like we'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later. What a pity. And so we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside. To be continued. Alright, I should have finished that last week, but whatevs. Alright, investigation. Oh my god, this investigation is long. Then, will there be a court case after this? (9th January, SS Buria First Class Cabin Passageway. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we'd managed to find some clue as to what that speckled band might be. We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine... Okay, Comrade is waiting out there. That we won't be able to for a while longer. We'll never get past that sailor guarding the door. He's clearly glaring at us, as if to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a minute. What is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where did he go? He's completely disappeared. When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were securely back on my wrists. Okay, examine. So I've examined the book, I've examined the map. I've examined that. Okay, this is the mouse trap. Are there mice on board? A trap for catching mice. Yes, we have plenty of those back home in Japan. Although they seem to be using a lump of chalk or something as bait. Let me see. Yes, I think that's what it's called. Cheese. It's made from the milk of cows. Cheese? I wonder what that tastes like. You can't eat it, Naruhodo-san. The trap will snap shut on your fingers. Really, but... Suppose you're right. You weren't actually going to try it, were you? All I've had to eat for the past couple of weeks is Kazuma's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe. Poor you. I'll find a little snack for you later. Okay, I think we need to talk to Comrade there. Not our cabin, it's Kazuma's cabin. Sorry. Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin. You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. Anyway, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga has managed to uncover any new clues. Yes, we should probably find him and ask. No, I already did that, damn it. Okay, I think we need to talk to Mr. Biff Stroganoff here. What? Why you look like that? You want something? Hmm? Maybe. You want me to throw you out again? Oh, no, definitely not that. Next time I have to throw you out, I show you where lobsters spend winter. Understand? Understand. Maybe I should steer clear of him until he's forgotten my face. I don't think he'll ever forget your face, Naruhodo-san. So should we go back? I think we need to go back to cabin. 9th January, SS Buria, first class cabin. Number 1. Looks like they're still investigating in here. Yes, on that subject. I wonder if Inspector Hosanagi is unscathed. What do you mean, unscathed? Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruhodo-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you. Oh yes, but I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. You never know. Oh wait, has this room reset? Okay, I've checked that, I've checked that, I've checked that. I've checked sword, I've checked that. I've checked... Okay, you know what? I haven't checked those two yet again. Spend his final moments writing his diary. Yep, okay. This just replace the diary dialogue. Okay, this is like... This doesn't have the red check mark again, so it seems this might have changed. And they spelled the Russian word for wardrobe. Does seem to be an ambiguous pointer for you as you were sleeping in there. But to be truly unambiguous, it should have just spelled out my name, don't you think? Well, either way, one fact remains. It's hard to imagine that Kazuma would have written his last words or word in Russian. Okay, how about bookshelf? All the books provided for passengers occupying this cabin neatly arranged on the shelf. They were all over the place when you first looked around, if you remember. You changed the scene of the crime! And you tidied them up, did you? You have to look after the ship's property. Unruly behavior in the cabins leads to damage. But it really wasn't me who knocked them over. Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy. So the rules for travel aboard the Buria. Passengers must not keep weapons. Well, he has a sword. So by bringing her pet on board, Miss Pavlova has broken the rule. She called it her friend, didn't she? Although we don't know from what this friend takes as yet. I'm almost certain that whatever it is, it's inside the traveling case in her cabin. A friend. There's more to this than it seems, I think. Alright, how about Mr. Sailor? You, where did you go? Oh, sorry, I just went to the next door cabin to investigate. Why? Who gave you permission for this? Well, Seaman Hosonaga did it. That new Japanese was... Later, I will roll him in ball and throw him in cold room. He's gone back to guarding the door. I hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account. He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at La Carnival. But wasn't he the waiter? Okay, it seems I don't have anything left To investigate. Except... Wait, oh my god, he has been here all this time, really? I thought he was freaking outside. Just a few minutes before he died, Kazuma saw something emerging from it. The speckled band, as he described it. Okay, I think Pavlova came from the vents to go into the other room. I wonder if she's telling us everything though. There was something about that woman that didn't sit right with me. Okay, let's talk to Mr. Oh, he has like a bruise here now. And he has a black eye. Oh my god, has he been beaten up? Ah, you're back. Yes, and oh my god, his glasses is like broken. What happened to you? Your face is... Please, don't worry about it. Then he's gonna go... They were just scratches. Made by a bear, maybe. When I told the captain that I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel with his fists and then toss me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash and he must have decided against throwing me overboard. So it was nothing really. My god, I pity him. Looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to. Well, thanks for your efforts. We know a little about the neighboring cabin. Yes, so I understand. Oh. I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I think his name was something like Herlock Sholmes. I don't think he was German though. That explains it. Shall we compare notes then? We can tell you what we found out. Yes! Let's do it! I love his like idle poses like, yes! Okay, cabin next door. What? Nikolina Pavlova, she's in the cabin next door? Oh, do you know who she is? Please, what self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know that graceful angel? Oops, I think I upset him there. Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case at least. Really? Speckled band, it's Tiara. Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Oh yeah, that's the entire premise of the Ace Attorney series. Someone very innocent looking, oh, I'm not the killer. But yeah, you're the killer. Or you're an accomplice. Oops, no, I've definitely upset him. Inspector, has your investigation here proved fruitful? Sorry, I'm just adjusting this a bit because I think I'm peaking, and just let me know if like audio's over the top or off range, I don't know. If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying not to take my eyes off the job. Oh, I see. There's one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. New information? This is brand new information! What is this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. Oh, a letter. The Burious medical officer has finished his examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. Oh, Kazuma's post-mortem report? Kazuma-sama. So, what was the cause of death? He isn't dead. Damage to the cervical vertebrae is what is written to the report. Okay, he's dead, yeah. His neck was broken. Yes, it would seem so. There were no obvious wounds or other signs of injury. Oh my god, what's happening to OBS? Alright. No obvious ones or other signs of injury. So at first I think they were considering poison. He was drugged. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in his system at all. Well, what weapon was used then? Nothing has been found as of yet, but the fact that there are no signs of a wound suggests it may have been a blunt object. Something that wouldn't leave a mark. Blunt object that wouldn't leave a mark. Aren't like blunt objects knives or something? But there was no blood, so... yeah. All the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. It's a possibility and no obvious wound would be left. Poor Kazuma. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. After all, if I didn't trust you, I never have agreed to you leaving this cabin in the first place, would I? Yo, Coburn, what's up? Thank you for being a fan. How are you doing? Welcome on in. Hope everything's well. Alright, Postmortem report has been added into the court record. Alright. Postmortem report. Victim, male, Far Eastern time of death, sometime between 1 a.m. and a little past 2 a.m. Cause of death, damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. The victim's neck was almost certainly broken as a result of a strong blow to the area. No obvious external injuries or traces of poison. Alright. Was he like knocked out by a chair? Like, if you see like the scene of the crime there, like there's like a lot of stuff there. Doing alright, workstation is back up and running. Nice. What did I miss in the first 30 minutes? Yeah, we just tried interviewing Pavlova and she wasn't talking and she was called up to the captain's quarters. So that was the end of that chapter. Then we went back to the room, then we're just talking to Mr. Waiter Sailor guy here, who still has his hands like this even though it's not necessary anymore. I guess that's just his model. Anyway. Yep, he has the shackles again. Oh, Mr. Sholmes was here, was he? Yes. He seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept about on the floor investigating. Why is like the crew letting him just like run around? And while all of us are like detained in this room. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored. Did he say anything at all? Actually, now you mention it, yes. Just one thing, but he practically shouted it. It's shoe polish, was all he said. Shoe polish? I wonder what he meant. Is it some sort of like dye? It was when he was over there by the piece of broken glass, you see. That's a bell. That's half a bell of something. Anyway, perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored mark, you think? That must be it. But how could Mr. Sholmes know that it's shoe polish? That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea. What is it, Susato-san? Well, Kazuma-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue. Dark tan? A sort of dark brownish red then. Yes, a little like the color of red wine but darker. I often repair them for him. Oh, does this mean that this mark was made by the polish on Kazuma's shoes as they scuffed on the floor? Mark on the floor has been entered into the court record. Wow, just now, really. That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. My fellow crewmen's eyes are boring into the back of my head. Yes, that might be for the best, thank you. Jeez, you really need to get your lungs checked. You look exhausted. Oh no. Well, I feel terrible that I failed to protect Asogi-san. He was my responsibility. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You were his friends. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke this morning. Heavy head? That's interesting. Or do you like have a hangover? My head's still throbbing too. Okay, let's see this. Okay, so I can't like check anything. This is like a broken something. God, what is wrong with freaking OBS? Sorry. Alright. What can we check now? I don't think we can check anything else, right? Because I've checked that, I've checked this. We've checked everything that has like that light blue crosshair and a check mark. Bed, wardrobe, that. Okay, should we move outside? I think we can move outside. Yep, okay, we move outside. Then Mr. Sholmes will be here. Ah. Look, Naruhodo-san. Seaman Stroganoff has gone. Strong enough? The burly Russian sailor who's always crossing his arms and glaring at us. All these Russian names are impossible to remember. Shalala. Did you hear that? It sounded like someone singing. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-lirale. I did it the great detective way. Oh my god, it's Sholmes. It's Sholmes. This caroling, I know that lark-like voice. Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us. Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Let's get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin while we can and investigate. Definitely. Before that Stringy Knot crewman comes back. It's Stroganoff, not Stringy Knot. And Sherlock Holmes is here. I mean, Herlock Sholmes, sorry. Oh. Suitcase is opened. Miss Pavlova isn't back yet. Wait, Susato-san. Oh, where's she gone? Hey, what are you doing? Those are her private things. There's not a moment to waste. We must investigate quickly as... Oh my god, wow. I suppose you're right for Kazuma's sake. Not just for Kazuma. What do you mean? It can't be long now until we arrive at port in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there. Really? We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san. By ourselves if we have to. Yes, we will. Okay, vent. So this ventilator connects to Kazuma's cabin next door. Yes, although what a fool shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator to another room. Maybe. It's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm. Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning. Wow, how morbid. Anyway, last night, Kazuma wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out of this ventilator. Okay, so this is the There's one of these next to the bed in Kazuma's cabin too. Yes, it's a bell cord. Can't resist. She barely hesitated there and she gave it a good tug too. Why are you calling room service? No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come. We don't want them to. We're trying to investigate in secret. Okay, let's look at her clothes. Naruhodo-san, are you there? Sorry, I'm right here. Yes, why? Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home. Believe me, I don't have strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see, you know. Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes. I was rather hoping we might find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding in there, but no such luck. Okay, that's the bed. I can't check the bag. Let's check the door. This cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch that our cabin door has. If the bolt's drawn across, there's no way anybody could enter the cabin from outside. Yes, it's not a particularly heavy-duty bolt, is it? But still, it wouldn't slide across of its own accord, would it? Sorry. Yeah, no, and the door is made of metal, so there's no chance of trickery using magnets to unbolt it from the outside. And it seals up perfectly too, to stop any seawater coming in. So you couldn't use the method you told me of passing a thread through a crack around the closed doors either. I seem to know a lot of tricks for opening doors. I'm starting to see why they suspect. You probably can with the use of an electromagnet though. Ah yes, they're displayed in this cabin too. Look, the SS Burious rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. I suppose Miss Pavlova realized that she needed to keep the contents of her case a secret after she read this. Her special friend, I mean. Wonder where her friend has disappeared to now. It's probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine. Just hope Seaman Stroganoff doesn't find it and throw it overboard. Yes, so do I. All the books have toppled over together, look. Every single one. Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though. It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door. In Kazuma's cabin. Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase. Don't know, would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company? Alright then. Must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage. Not everything bad that happens on this ship is because of me, you know. Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again in here too. No! You're gonna give away that You're gonna give away that we went inside this cabin. Wow. Use your head. Oh my, Miss Pavlova's case is open. It's completely empty inside, but according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there. Yes, a friend that she had to keep secret, because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the SS Buria. I wonder what kind of animal she had in there. And more to the point, where is it now? I suppose every cabin has a waste paper basket. Shall we have a little look and see what's been thrown away? Naruhodo-san, it's poor etiquette to go sifting through someone's rubbish, you know? Ugh, those eyes. She's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now. However, these are special circumstances, I think. Exactly, we have no choice. There's hardly anything here at all. Well, Rip. Oh well, a little disappointing. Sorry. Alright. Okay. Trash bin's done. How about desk? There are just a few books on the desk, nothing else by the looks of it. Well, Miss Pavlova only ran away from the ballet last night. She hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all. That's true. I wonder what kind of books she likes to read. Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading books written in Russian. Thanks, I think I probably already knew that. It's rude to ask too much of people, Naruhodo-san. Kindly remember that. Okay, how about this plate? I wonder what this little saucer is doing on the floor. Yes, doesn't look like it's been dropped, more like it was put there deliberately. It's for Pavlova's pet. Do you think there could be a leak on the roof just above here? What? A leak? Is this ship quite safe? I'm sure that even if there's a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink. No, you're right. Of course you're right. She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? Would seem this teapot is empty. So the natural conclusion is the Russians are a very thirsty people. Or because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet. I mean, it could be either. It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd lay 1,000 to 1 on it. Thirsty or thirsty? You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Naruhodo-san? Is there anything else I haven't checked? So that, check that, I've checked that. I have a feeling I haven't checked everything. Nothing on the hooks. This is checked. This is all checked. Okay, I have a feeling, yeah, there's something here that I haven't checked in full. So, door. I checked the vent. I've checked this. I've checked wardrobe. You can't really check this bag. You've checked the rules. You've checked that. There's nothing in this lamp. There's nothing in this photo. There's nothing there. Nothing in the saucer, nothing in the table. Okay, I think we could probably go outside. So mousetrap is done. Oh my god, it's... Okay, fine. Let's talk to Sholmes. You never know where he's going to turn up next, do you? He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself. Surprise! Tra-la-la-la-li-ra-lay, I did it the great detective way. He's still singing. Don't you think he has noticed us? Or he's simply in extremely high spirits. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when the yard bit off more than it could chew. And through it all, when there was doubt, it's lucky her luck was about. Excuse me? I solved it all and I stood tall. I did it the great detective way. Mr. Sholmes! Ah! What is it? You want to fight him? Is he fighting or is he like just dancing? Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing and I was just about to reach the climactic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now is a good time as any. I nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. Alright, I get the picture. Now could you put those fists away? Mr. Sholmes, you seem to be examining something before we interrupted you. Ah yes, that. I was immersed in study of the ship's log, as penned by the stockily built crewman who's usually on guard here. Oh yes, the ship's log. Did you find out anything useful from it? Well, after 2 a.m. this morning, the majority of the entries are blank, which means there was nothing to report, nothing of note happened. But didn't other guy die around that time? You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Observe the other pages and all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman off standard sentry in this first-class passageway. And he has almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Oh, he writes that every 30 minutes. Nothing to report. But simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when there's just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. So maybe Mr. Beef Stroganoff was involved in some way. Do you mean yes, there were circumstances afoot last night which led to the seaman being absent from his post? What kind of circumstances? What happened? That remains a mystery for now, but we can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. The ship's log has been entered into the court record. Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective. Alright, now what is ship's log? Okay. Duty crewman, Beef Stroganoff. Nothing to report. Nothing to report. Nothing to report. Nothing to report. You're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Sholmes brilliance. Oh, ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason, nothing more. Everyone has a headache. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. Toodles! Okay, everyone has a headache. I have a headache. Sholmes has a headache. Hosanaga has a headache. It is something probably in the food or water. Is something wrong, Susato-san? You seem lost in a thought. It's just... well, I feel the same. Everybody has a headache. Ever since I woke this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing. Oh, you too? Okay, I assume we go back here. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. What's that? Wee you, wee you, wee you, wee you, wee you. Shut down the engines immediately. Vessel sighted a quarter mile 4. Full stop. Hard to starboard. All hands brace for impact. What the? I think we're about to crash into another ship. What? I can't stand. Susato-san, hold on to me. Wah! Susato-san, are you alright? Are you injured at all? I think I'm fine. Thank you, Naruhodo-san. Okay, everything's toppled over again. Looks like we avoided a collision, I think. Yes, the ship has come to a stop. Oh my goodness, what about you? Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Hello, is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like Inspector Hosonaga. Is that you there, Naruhodo-san? Unbolt the door quickly. What, the bolt? Look at that. The door's bolted. Did you do that, Sasuta? No, I didn't touch it. Well, that's strange. How did... And look at all the books. They're just like they were before again. Naruhodo-san, aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in? I told you it's magnets. Better tidy this place up first. Our violently emergency stop had solved one mystery at least in a very vivid way. But I knew that what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying up the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. Okay, that's chapter 2, I assume. When are we going to the court case? Jeez, this is probably gonna be a very long episode or a very long case. Everybody's outside and they're gonna get mad at us. Okay, where are we at for time? Alright, ads will start in 2 minutes. So, before we begin this next section or next chapter, I'll probably take a quick break. I'll run the ads now. Then when we get back, we will continue this case. So, I will BRB and enjoy the new clips. Again, if you want to see the full clip show, head over to YouTube. Yes, my YouTube command works. Woo! Alright, so I will BRB and I will run the ads, and we will be back in 3-ish minutes. So enjoy, question mark. Hey, it's 1-1! I do not know. That is good. Oh my god, I finally did the shell jump. Oh my god, I got lagged. This is CP1. This is CP1. That's the end. Wait on PP. I should wait on the PP. Where did that checkpoint come from? CP1 or feet pics. Obviously, we have to go for the feet pics, right? We have to go for the feet pics. Well, time to panic roulette. Oh, that was a good run. Well, I'm gonna die, 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 I'm gonna die! I am not dead yet. Just go, 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 just... Fuck. Same. Same fan. Oh, that's a wall? Wait, what? How did... What? That's not the wall. You son of a... Let's try. Okay, what now? It's 1-1, but there's no floor. YOLO! Oh my god, that's so simple, simply stupid, but it's so fun. And we back. Alright. More Chronicles. Alright. Miss Pavlova's cabin. Let's see what will happen. Will everybody be mad at us because we've escaped? I don't know. Let's do this. Somehow the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. Susato-san took a deep breath, then gently slid back the bolt. Okay, comrade is there. You, what are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? Ah, you both look unhurt. Good. Yes, we're fine, thank you. What on earth happened? We heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship. Yes, it appears to have been a false report though. Oh, how did that happen? There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. This person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop. Everything chaos, passengers screaming, crew are running everywhere. This first-class area is the only quiet part of the ship at that moment. Oh, I see. Because probably we're the only people in the ship. Someone triggered the alarm. Does that mean... it's Sholmes. It was Sholmes. Someone pressed that button outside. Ah! You wicked intruder dressed in all black. You're the devil. Sorry, me. I've been called a lot of things before, but devil is a first. You opened my traveling case. How could you? What? No, we didn't touch it. That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector! Yes. Arrest this man. I know he did it. He's a criminal. Is it not enough that he killed the man? Da! And he's stowaway as well. If Vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe? Take him away. He's a trespasser as well as everything else. Stowing away, trespassing, killing. She is right. You are devil. It doesn't look good, doesn't it? Veto. There is cell below deck. Throw him in. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong, then we give you straight to police. Wait, a cell? Please, Inspector Asanaga, is there nothing you can do? This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options. This is terrible. This is a real crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately. Wow, they're just standing there, really. I somehow doubt we shall be able to leave here. Okay, it looks like everything's like reset. Okay, so let's talk first to Pavlova. Miss Pavlova, can I get out? Listen, I'm sorry that we snuck in here without your permission, but get out now. We just needed to investigate in here to help understand what happened to There's something. I don't know. It's no use. She's not going to listen. I need to find someone who will. Let's talk to Mr. Beef Stroganoff. Beef Stroganoff. Please, just give me a little more time. I do nothing for you, except show you way to ship's prison cell. Thanks, but no thanks. But I'm innocent. I didn't kill anyone. And trespassing and stowing away? Well, you know, sometimes life can lead you down some unusual avenues and well... I'm surprised the game's displaying the different fonts. I think it's scripted. Even probably in another localization, you can see like that Russian text. Like even in the previous case, right? With the English text and script, I think it's scripted that way. Enough, you are guilty. Ship cell is only place fit for you. Come on, there has to be someone. Some savior to rescue me from this crisis. It's gonna be Herlock. Herlock Sholmes is in the left. He's gonna be somewhere here. Of course, he's there. Come on, let's talk to Hasanaga first. You've got yourself into a difficult situation here. By entering this cabin uninvited, I mean. Sorry. It's just so desperate to find a clue. I'm afraid there's really nothing more I can do to help you. If I push my luck any further, a punch to the face will be the least of my worries. I'm really sorry. I have to take responsibility for giving you the freedom to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin. Now this has happened, I'll have to report to the captain at once. I really need some help here. Yep, it's Herlock Sholmes. Fine. Why are you like hanging from that hook? I'm surprised you can actually hold your weight. What the? What are you doing up there? Mr. Sholmes. And why is he wearing the tiara? Naturally, I was analyzing what the weight of 20,000 rubles feels like on one's head. Have I not told you that as a detective, it's my business to know what other people do not? This isn't some mere tomfoolery, my boy. Oh no. Well, why were you hanging from that hook before then? Isn't it obvious to properly assess the weight of the 20,000 rubles naturally? I wish to determine if it would bend that conceited-looking hook on the wall, so full of brag and bounce. I never know whether to take this man seriously or not. You again, the great detective. Inspector, I confess I've been looking for you. Why does he get to go scoot-free and we're like in trouble? I have something to report to you most urgently. Well, you might try looking for me somewhere other than a hook on the wall next time. What to report? Speak! An urgent report from a great detective can mean but one thing. The case of the curious murder that took place last night here on this vessel, the steamship Buria, has been solved by me, naturally. What? Really? Yes, I have eliminated all other possibilities. No other explanations exist. So, allow me to illuminate all your minds. For I am about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Oh god, is this another deduction sequence? Okay, not yet. Alright, I thought you were going to the cards and like the zoom in, zoom out thing. Ha! You have solved it. Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all knew who was responsible for killing Student Boy this morning when we found criminal in wardrobe. It's this stowaway, and he has handcuffs to prove it. I didn't do it! Get him out of here. The trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. Because as everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted shut from the inside. That means the culprit must be someone who was inside the cabin. Yes, it's what's called a locked room mystery in detective stories. Locked room. That is point. I'm probably butchering the Russian, I'm so sorry. The room was locked. Well, I can't deny that. There's no way the bolt could have been drawn across from outside the cabin. Electromagnets! You're all quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all. Or maybe, yeah, the vent. The vent. Oh yes, there's another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin despite the bolted door. What other entrance? We never discovered one. Wyatt gapes open-mouthed at you even as we speak. It's the vent. The ventilator? Gahahaha! You think this is funny? I cannot even put my arm through that hole. That's because your arms are as thick as a tree trunk. You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening. It's not possible. Ah, but it is. And last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator. It's in the log. It's in the diary. Yup. Mr. Sholmes, do you mean... Are you referring to the words Kazuma wrote in his diary? I can hear a faint whistling sound. What looks like is some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Precisely, my dear madam. But what does it mean? What is the speckled band? It's the tiara. The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Are you boxing? There is a distinct element of danger, but fear not. I am ready. What I am about to expose for you all will shock you to all your cores. Behold! Yep, here we go. Kya, what the? Where did that snake come from? Allow me to introduce you all to the band, the Speckled band. Wait. It's the snake? So the Speckled band wasn't the tiara? And why... Where did the snake come from? And why is he like wrapped around the face of Mr. Beef Stroganoff? And why isn't he moving? And why isn't he dead anyway? A snake? Indubitably. I mean, that snake came out of nowhere. Like, it wasn't like withering around or like in the trash bin or something. Mr. Sholmes, just one thing. Pray, what troubles you? Well, that snake isn't really speckled, is it? It looks more stripy, wouldn't you say? Yes, you're right. I think in this case, you'd have to call it the striped band. This case is making your head hurt. Do we need the box of painkillers? It's gonna probably reveal everything later. And yeah, why is this like wrapped around the sailor guy? Oh, that's the mark on his face. So wait. So this guy owns the snake. You both see and observe with distinction. However, do you not think this is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall? Well, Coburn also has a note. Every single Ace Attorney case would make your head hurt because of all the logic intertwined. Anyway. Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap? How exactly? I think perhaps it's time I explain the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova? I'm sorry for the young man who died, but that is all. Wait, she did it? The whole thing has nothing to do with me? There are two conclusions I have drawn from the facts. Number one, last night your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. And wait, is Pavlova's friend the snake? Okay, and number two, that same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life. No. She's turned as white as a bowl of rice again. Sholmes must be right. He's hit the nail on the head. This young woman's friend killed Mr. Asogi. Looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head. Shouldn't you have died from asphyxiation again or whatever? I would advise as little movement as possible, Seaman. You wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend in your neck. So everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Holmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Here we go! The game is afoot. Topic 1. Intruder's identity. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing is nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? As I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. And yet that fact leaves us in a quandary. Wait. He has marks on his face. Is that the snake? I don't know. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. Whereas regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? It's the tiara. Okay, the speckled band is probably the tiara. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that's what you are trying to conceal can only be snake-sloughed skin. Evidently, after the subtle and horrible crime, this most deadly friend of yours shed the skin. Shed its original skin. Okay, it's possible. I don't know what you're talking about. Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, your then speckled friend slithered next door. Using the bell cord on the other side as a bridge, the serpent silently descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman who was about to lose his life a speckled band. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake whose markings change each time it sloughs its skin. A snake so dreadful we can only imagine it would be found in the deepest depths of India. Yo, Tilted, what's up? Welcome on in. Happy New Year to you as well. Hope you had a good holiday and a good New Year. Hope everything's well. A beloved speckled snake. Topic 2. How Mr. Asogi died. This guy's named Sholmes. Yes, he's Sholmes. Sherlock Sholmes. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. The snake strangled him. How did this young man lose his life and why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear there were no signs of injury. Excuse me. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. But did he have any markings? Now, if we take that as a fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm that at the scene of the crime. Yes, an examination of this deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. There was no venom. Almost but not quite imperceptible puncture wounds left by the venomous fangs will seal the truth. According to the post-mortem report, there are no external injuries or traces of poison, so it's not venom. The vestiges of the snake bite delivered by your terrifying friend. This makes no sense. This makes no sense. There's no point feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right, you hid evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. When you first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your serpent assassin was restless inside, no doubt. It is telling that the victim made note of a low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you had used to train your serpent friend. To train? Indeed, you'd put the serpent through this ventilator and wait. After a period, you'd summon it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared not to have been dispatched, you'd release the snake once more. Do you deny the snake has undergone such training? It's not true. Okay. Why is he still on the face of Mr. Sailor Guy? Having slithered through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in once. And its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. Okay, post-mortem report, it's not poison. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt. There can be no doubt. My logic is infallible. Okay, we have to like, what they call this? We have to disprove everything of this. This thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of the speckled band. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor, you will observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is the key to training any creature. Incredible! You've solved the mystery. Amazing! Your great deduction really lives up to his name. Oh, so he's the incompetent fool you need to prove wrong. Nice. Yes. And after you've proven him wrong, he's gonna take credit. Yeah, it's all me. I see now why Sherlock Sholmes has become such a household name. My dear man, it was nothing remarkable, as the Russians say. I could have done it with one left hand. Something's not quite right. Could I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes? But of course, what's on your mind? It's just about your deductions before. Some things don't quite make sense to me. Don't they all have one left hand? Have you checked your other left? I welcome questions as to my method, and will answer both loudly and proudly. Oh well, good. First of all, Snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family. You are well informed, madame. And reptiles don't drink milk. It's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So I'm not sure it would be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward. No matter, no doubt Miss Pavlova used some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example, the logic holds. Well, there's something else. Snakes have no ears. So I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal to a snake by whistling. But madam, what of the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard of the snakes that dance to the sounds of a flute? I think perhaps the performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements. Oh, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears? These creatures are so inept as to be practically useless. Don't take it out on the stakes, Mr. Sholmes. There is one other thing. You have one more? Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that a snake could manage to climb up a flat bell cord like the ones in these cabins. Then it should try harder. Please don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. The point is, even if the snake had gone through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. Oh my god, my feet are cramping. Ouch. Holy crap, wait. Ah, shoot. Sorry. I might have just moved my foot wrong and cramped. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is... Okay, is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine the snake could have a part in this. Actually, where did the snake come from in the first place, and why is it on this sailor's head? Wrapped around the sailor's head. It came out of nowhere and there are no clues as to where it came from. Now everybody's quiet. I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh no, you don't mean... Yes, we need to modify Mr. Sholmes' latest deductions and turn them into the great ones they ought to be. ... Cool setup on this song is at the tip of my tongue, but I can tell Action Man. I see oats and goats. This means you're in Minnesota or Canada. A couple key decision. Kek W. Anyway, I had a feeling this was coming. Alright, let's give it a try. Just what I saw was waiting for. Mr. Narrow. See, he's gonna take credit after we modify his arguments. So, cast your eyes down to your wrists again. You've done it again. Your handcuffs are gone. Where'd they go? Fear not, I shall see they're restored after our work is done. I really wish you'd leave them off. It's magic. Now everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular! Course correction. Hold it! Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death is nothing to do with me, this whole thing is nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. Why is she holding her wrists? She does have a pained expression on her face. Yes, that's true. She looks though Kazuma-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind. But you're not sure Mr. Sholmes has read her quite correctly, is that it? Could there be some other way to interpret her expression then? Let's take a moment and really look very closely at Miss Pavlova. Oh, hello. Okay, I want to like see if there's anything else. Left ear. I see the scratches, but let's investigate everything. She has such petite ears among the beautiful hair, like little pink shells. Oh, what's that? There's something dangling from her ear. Ah, that's an earring. The crescent moon part looks like though it's made from wood. It's charming, isn't it? Women do seem to love adornments like that. In their hair, around their necks, on their fingers, and even hanging from their ears, it seems. Well, jewelry is beautiful, Naruhodo-san. Right ear. It's just an earring. She has such petite ears, yada yada yada. Same, what's that? There's something attached to her ear. Ah, I expect that's what's called an earring. It's a little piece of jewelry. An earring, is it? It's really tiny. Perhaps part of it is missing. Maybe it broke off. So now all that's left is the clasp part that attaches to the ear. If that's the case, she doesn't appear to have noticed that it's broken. Okay, what else? I think it's only the wrists that's left. Aching heart. She really does look troubled. Yes, it's hard to believe she's putting that expression on to fool us. But if you look closely, it's almost like she's actually staring at something rather. What do you think? Perhaps something physically causing her pain. We should have a closer look. Yep, it's her wrists. God, how do you like rotate? Claw scratch. Naruhodo-san, look, that looks like a very painful wound. Looks like a scratch made by some kind of small animal. Okay, I think she has a cat. And fairly recently, too. Well, whatever scratched her doesn't appear to be around here.
Yes!
Yes, when you recall those horrid events, that claw scratch smarts with pain. Indeed, and simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. See, he's taking credit for everything. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch sometime last night? Ah! When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I am sad, the pain from this wound is worse. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? As I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. It seems likely that the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except, snakes don't have claws, do they? No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet on which claws might grow. Well then, if that snake isn't her pet, what is? What is the true identity of this friend of hers? We should follow her gaze, Naruhodo-san. That's where we'll find the answer. Seaman Stroganoff. Oh wait, look, picture. Okay, writhing serpent, Steven Stroganoff, teapot, photograph frame. Alright, let's investigate everything. Serpent. The more I look at this creature, the more its stripes stand out. It's a very impressive snake, isn't it? Oh yes, it really is. And it seems to be doing its best to squeeze this poor sailor's head until it bursts. Yes, it's a terrifying sight, and slightly heartwarming at the same time. Anyway, it would probably be a good idea not to get too close. He has a fish for a necktie. There's no doubt there, is there? She looked in this direction, staring straight at Seaman Stroganoff. Well, they do seem to be friends of sorts, but I can't imagine how he could possibly fit through that ventilator. Don't forget that I managed to fit inside Kazuma's trunk when we first boarded the ship. I would ask what that proves, but I think equivocal little smile would be more effective. How about Teapot? I have a feeling... Yeah, it's a cat. It's a cat. You can see in the picture. That it was this teapot that Miss Pavlova's eye flickered over to before. You think this is the friend she's been talking about? We're all different, aren't we? Whatever you might say about it. If that's the way she feels, I don't think I'll say anything about it then. You and the teapot can discuss it instead. Wait, that's not what I meant! Okay, it's the photograph. She has a cat. Look at the photo. Oh, there's a bell. That's the bell. Look at the photograph in this frame. This must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away. She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she? Yes, that's true, but personally, it's the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye. Maybe we'd better take a closer look at this. That must be a staged costume she's wearing. It's quite stunning. I should like to have something like that. And she's wearing the 20,000 rubles on her head as well. Look. It's called a tiara, Naruhodo-san. And you shouldn't think of it purely in terms of its value. She must be a strong-willed woman to turn her back on the world stage and run away all on her own. Little kitten. Look at the little cat Miss Pavlova is cuddling here. Oh, what a cute little kitten. It could vie with you, couldn't it, Naruhodo-san? For the blackest outfit. A black kitten. And from the look of this picture at least, Miss Pavlova seems very attached to it.
Yes!
It's Kitty Cat. Without doubt, your friend's the little kitten we see before us. Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear. Oh no. The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you? Ah! Darka. Okay, Darka's the cat name. Is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind. Darka would appear to be a Russian blue. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations in the night in question tell of a speckled band, whereas regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit the description in any way. What explanation can we then give, Bray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you're trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake's sloughed skin. Did you see that? She just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back. If she just left it in her pocket, no one would ever have known. Oh yes, ploys like that are Mr. Shom's specialty. He's ever so cleverly forced her to reveal something. I thought deduction was his specialty, or maybe making me believe that was a ploy. Anyway, I find it hard to believe that the skin of a snake... That's the skin of a snake. In which case, just what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back? Can I not? Why can't I, like, view the tiara? Snake sloughed skin. It is a snake sloughed skin. Well, it's speckled and it's a band, but what is it? It seems to be soft and fluffy, a long piece of cloth of some sort. And that looks like a handle at one end. I think it may be a cat's toy. This sword is common in the West, apparently. How's that toy for cats? Cats like to chase the band around and paw it. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. You only need to wave it in front of them and they pounce to catch it. That sounds positively adorable. Cat's toy. Alright, cat's toy it is. That's the only thing I can like investigate here. Yes, the thing you are trying but failing to conceal is a cat's toy. Precisely, and the true nature of the now infamous Speckled band. Ah! And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. But why? For what reason? So wait, it isn't the tiara? My dear boy, there can only be one answer to that. After her feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. How could he climb up there? Damn it. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Darka. Ah! A truly troublesome feline young Darka is proving to be. She must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova. Photograph has been added to the court record. Alright. It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hand and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Darka, she is so naughty. A beloved kitten. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. Alright, I just want to check this photograph first. Okay, this bell has probably something to do with that. Considering if you look at this, there's half of a bell in here. How did this young man lose his life and why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by terrible venom. Mr. Shumse is true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere on Kazuma's body. That's right, but Mr. Shum seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Kazuma wasn't poisoned. Yes, it would seem so. That's given the information he's missing now.
Yes!
In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Ah yes, I knew it was one or the other. His neck was... Indeed, the breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. Seaman Stroganoff isn't some immortal freak, you know. The jury's out anyway. We have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if you take that as a fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no, could there be? Yes, an examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. Kazuma's died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something. Or someone. Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found though. Presumably, Darka didn't silently creep up behind Kazuma and deal him a fatal blow. I suppose it's possible that he had to fall and hit the ground awkwardly. It could have been a terrible act of misfortune that he had broke his neck completely by accident. Oh yes, a bad fall could explain it. It's rather hard to believe in Kazuma though, he wasn't a clumsy man. Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened? It's probably this mark on the floor.
Yes!
An examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish? Indeed, positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course. Wow, how convenient. Beeswax, tallow, and dye were my results, the undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. And the color of the polish is a perfect match to the color of Mr. Asogi's laced leather shoes. Oh, did he trip on the cat? Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Asogi must have caught his foot at the point on the floor and tripped. Please, no. And by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object he fell onto the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instant he lost his life. No! I don't know. I don't know anything about this. Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Asogi lost his life? Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right, you hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. No. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was merely tripped over and now he's no more. It can't be true. I refuse to accept it. I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that's what happened. But, and if this part of Mr. Shom's deduction is right, Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin, somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes. Where, I wonder? Let's have a good look. The answer must be here around somewhere. This is where Miss Pavlova hid her friend. That's right, and it wasn't on a snake after all. No, it was that little kitten she calls Darka, not that it's anywhere to be seen now. Seems to have left itself out of the case and gone exploring. I expect it's wrapped itself around someone's head somewhere, trying to make a new friend. Either that or it's crashing their hand to pieces. The point is, where has it got to? Well, I can only select two things. It's either the case or the tiara, or waste basket. This is a waste paper basket. Perhaps all the first-class cabins have them, but Miss Pavlova only started occupying this cabin last night. Presumably, there's not much rubbish in there yet. It's half of the bell! It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it? Yes, it is. And I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. If it looks familiar, perhaps it's more than in your mind simply playing tricks on you. Somebody appears to have dropped 20,000 rubles here. It hasn't been dropped, Maruhodo-san. It's been placed. Starting to sound like Mr. Sholmes. Stop trying to sound like the great detective. Okay, it's the waste bin. Yep.
Yes!
That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that waste paper basket. Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object, it would seem. One that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely, we found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Asogi's cabin. And as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly. Oh no. So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of this glass object, which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the waste paper basket in your cabin? Kya? You're well acquainted with this glass bill, are you not? I don't know. In that hushed Russian accent of yours, won't save it this time, dear girl. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bill in question. Take it away, Mr. Naruhodo. Kya? That Kya of yours was cute. Oh, come on. That was bad voice acting. Clip it, will you? The evidence linking to Miss Pavlova and the little glass bell would be the photograph.
Yes!
Obvi. If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Darka's collar, the very glass bell in question. The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall. And the cause of that fateful stumble was your cat. Your absent feline friend, Darka. Kya? I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry. So it was your cat. Death by tripping over a cat. Wow, this case is very anticlimactic. Deduction complete. Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night. It was a little after... Thank you, Tilted. It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands. People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments. She was so fast, she disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her. And that is how you acquired a rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it. Yes. And I had read the rules on the wall. I knew that I was not allowed to Darka with me. Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. Oh my god, you have rabies. You have rabies. So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if someone was there, he must be sleeping. So at that point, you thought it's safe to try to lure the kitten back. By dangling the end of the toy through the ventilator and into the adjoining cabin. Darka always loves this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return. So the faint whistling sound Kazuma wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet. Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened. Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. But then... Meow! Thud. I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out and then, oh, it was such a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent. Kazuma was... From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seemed likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping up. The SS Bury is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. If Mr. Asogi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching, when the kitten got under his feet, the combination of unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. But what became of the kitten afterwards? In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator. Yet Darka is nowhere to be seen. She must be in the other room. I must have forgotten to lock my case, and now she's disappeared again. She's in the other room. Gracious, that cat is as insufferably restless as I am. Well, he knows something about himself at least. Okay, he knows he doesn't lack self-awareness. We'll give him that. When I woke this morning, I heard that a young man in the cabin next to mine had died. But I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. Okay, so who wrote that Russian text? I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back. Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake? You're right. Where is it? If the snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it and where did it come from? Oh my god, it's his pet. He was like petting it and then... What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing on board this ship? Oh, I didn't say. Snake is my friend. Yo, Mytho, what's up? Thank you for the lurk. Hope you're doing well. No worries. Snake is friend. His name is Pirozko. Pet the snake. That snake belongs to you? He escaped from cage when emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here. Yes, how did that snake get into this cabin? But animals aren't not permitted on board. Ha! We are at sea for 1 year. You want to be so long without close friend, without someone who understands. Couldn't you find someone a little more human who understands you better? But my dear burly fellow, a gargantuan venomous snake, surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in. No venom. Pirozko does not have venom. He is harmless, very long but very gentle. He is adorable like Granny. It's venomless? Yes, now he is hungry, so he is in bad mood. But once fed him, you will see big smile. And you feed him with what? Milk, I suppose? Ha! Like they say, milk chickens? Ridiculous. Snakes that drink milk are only in stupid stories. Pirozko eats mouses. Big fat round mouses. Ah, oh so... Is that what the mousetrap in the passageway out there is for? Of course. How else can I catch my friend's favorite food? That's a rat. If it smells like a rat, give it cheese. Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now. Okay, so, so the snake is Stroganov's. It refuses to drink milk, it can't hear a whistle, it can't climb up a bell cord. And it's not even venomous. How the juice did something so inept land a starring role? It's not my fault. I do not make up stories. My Pirozko is nothing to do with incident. So that's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. A cat. Okay, ads will start in a bit. I'm not gonna snooze it. I'm sorry. I'll just go through this. Then we'll see what's gonna happen. If this is gonna end or not, we'll see. I have a feeling there's still more to this case or this section, this chapter. Miss Pavlova. I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. But please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. What are you talking about, Miss Mikitoba? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything. Okay, what? Okay, who wrote the Russian word? It was just a series of unfortunate events, an accident. I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I can see that was not the truth. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, ads are running. I do apologize. But I hope you do stay if you still hear this. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story. I'm sure of it. I can't just quite put my finger on it. It's the writing on the floor. I confess, I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. If ads are running, they can't hear you. I know. Or they have ad blockers, I don't know. Or they get the ads later. Oh. Yo, Tweed, what's up? Welcome on in. Did someone call for a detective? Is this your neighbor? Can you just tell him to not be over the top? How are you doing, Tweed? Welcome on in. I'm only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruhodo, are simply a distraction. A distraction? I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Oh, he has it back. Not again. When did he do that? I wish I could team up to it, in my opinion. Oh my god, are you gonna team up with Sholmes and Eve? Please. Especially as they're on your wrists as a result of my intervention. Oh, Sholmes' worst neighbor, always violent music late into the night. Yep. Have you told the queen about him? I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call. You were Mr. Sholmes? Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours, King Saigo King. I think it was Queen Victoria during this time, so yeah. Was he not? Yes. Kazuma was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom even. In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. Yeah, Vicky. Oh, so you know Vicky. Nice. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, whatever that may be. The key to this is the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear. It's the writing. It's the writing. There was writing on the floor. The truth about how you really died, about how that scene in your cabin really came to be. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo. So then, shall we begin? Yes. What we should ponder first is the victim who lost his life in a cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. Was this truly an unfortunate accident, or was it fact no accident at all? That is what we must establish in the first instance. Oh, Sholmes, stop being so anime. I know, he's been so over the top since the start of this case, and it's annoying me. But we've already established it, haven't we? The man tripped over the kitten that had climbed into his cabin via the ventilator. Tragic, yes, but still an accident. Hold it! Wait, let's just take a step back. Doesn't make sense if that's really what happened, does it? I'm going to have to ask you to spell it out for me, I'm afraid. Yes, it's starting to take shape now. There's a clear contradiction between the facts. Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right there in Kazuma's cabin. It's undeniable. His death couldn't have possibly been a mere accident. Really? Let us show our hand, Mr. Naruhodo. Okay, what do we have? I think it's just this one. It's because, like, this was written by someone else, and it's in Russian. The evidence that proves unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident.
Yes!
The truth is clearly recorded in this photographic print. Yup, alright. We have it. There's no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor. That's great. It's Russian, isn't it? Indeed it is. The word written means wardrobe. I see what you mean. Most people would leave a dying message in their native language, Japanese in this case. But maybe he was studying Russian. It's a simple language. He could have picked it up very fast. That doesn't seem likely. That's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. Balderdash, everyone writes on the ground when they die, accident or not. That's how wills are born. Yep. Every Ace Attorney case that like had the victim write something before their death. Exactly what I said before. There's no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor, and the reason why is clearly explained here. Damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. Instant death. So that was, what they call that? Yeah, this was all done after he died. Which means after the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't possibly have written anything. Because he was already dead. That's not the only reason either. There's something else we found in Mr. Asogi's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there if what Miss Pavlova told us was true. Oh my god, I have missed something. Is it okay? The only two things I can think of is either the mark on the floor or okay, wait. Putting this message. No, okay, it's something here. There's something that gives the truth away. Wait, was Asogi left-handed? In other words, oh shoot. Could be the bell. Okay, I'm thinking seal first. Because how could they write wardrobe in the first place?
Yes!
Okay, it's not that. Alright. Either the absence of something you would expect to find at the scene of the accident, or the presence of something. Alright, so it's probably the bell. Don't worry, Mr. Naruhodo, I believe in you. Well, more than Mr. Sholmes does anyway. Yes, it's starting to take shape now. There's a clear contradiction. Yep, okay. Okay, if this is not it, it's the log. Okay, I'm going with this. If this is still wrong, then it's the log.
Yes!
Okay, that's it. This piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor. But that's the glass bell the kitten had around its neck. It was broken in half when the victim tripped over the cat and fell. Where's the flaw in that logic? Unfortunately, there is a very big flaw. A fatal flaw. If that's really what happened, why does she have the other half? Yes, remember that we found the other half of the glass bell in that waste basket. Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavlova? Oh no. Both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. That when Mr. Asugi died last night in this cabin, there was someone else in the room. And that same person is you. Deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth in order to cover up his or her own guilt. Kya? Yes, there was someone else present in Mr. Asugi's. You are wasting time. Someone else was there. Duh, of course, we know this. What are you talking about? Bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. There is no way in or out. Oh yes. And only other person in cabin when young student died was you.
Yes!
It's true, I was in the cabin when it happened. You were shut inside the carbon wardrobe to be precise about the details. But I don't know Russian, there's no way I could have left that message. Not would have, there's no way you could have left that message, to be precise. Oh, now he's anal about grammar. Would you mind? Ha 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 ha. Forgive me, my dear fellow. As I was saying, the person in question wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate me for the crime even though I had been asleep in there the entire time. And then, the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen to the floor for fear of it becoming evidence that would show how Mr. Asugi really died. But why wouldn't this person have taken all the pieces of the bell anyway? Leaving half behind was always going to raise questions. Yes, well, it was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. The single small lamp suspended from the ceiling would barely have cast any light on the floor there. Little wonder then that the culprit failed to notice a fragment of the tiny item. You all suspect me, don't you? Oh, where's the snake now? Seaman Stroganov. Nina is woman of sea. She is daughter of strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills and she went away to join ballet company. But before, she was dancer on this ship, a member of ship's band. You do not accuse ship's angel of being criminal. So that's it. You say that when young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. But that's not possible. I give my tooth. Well, this is almost interesting. And why would you give your tooth, pray? How can you be so sure? You are a great detective. You should know. Look through thin ice. Cabin bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. Nobody could go into cabin. Not Nina, not anyone. Or you want to tell me that killer can walk through locked doors? Niet. It's impossible. He's right. But wait, I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie a thread around door latches so they can open and close them from the outside. Thread? Are you stupid? These bulkheads are not barn doors. I told you, magnets! Certainly not. These are watertight doors as one would expect to find on any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel, not with a gap in sight. No threads or needles or Oh, okay. Now he's disproving magnets. Alright, thank you. Fine, whatever. Of course not. I thought so. But Mr. Naruhodo suggested it earlier, so... How could you shift it on me like that? So Seaman Stroganoff has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been bolted shut from the outside. Not necessarily. Okay, how could the door have been bolted shut? It's the alarm. It's the alarm. Probably it's the alarm. I put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. And in this very cabin, we can see the traces of the method I have in mind having been used before. I don't believe it! Well, Mr. Naruhodo, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? A way to shut the bolt of the cabin door from the outside? One way does spring into mind, yes. Do you really know what Mr. Sholmes means? It's sounding the alarm, probably. And yes, so should you. Because we've seen it happen. Indeed we have. So, would you care to do the honors, Mr. Naruhodo? Point out the telling signs of the method that was used to slide the cabin door bolt across from the outside. What? I don't know.
Yes!
This is it. Oh my god, no. In fact, it's an excellent way to show how easy it is to jump to the wrong conclusion. It's a truly dismal way to show how the bolt could... Okay, I need to save scum. Okay, surely it can't be really possible to make the bolt slide shut without touching. Because we've seen it happen. Is it the bookcase?
Yes!
Oh my god, what? How does the bookcase play into any of this? See how all of the books and things on it have toppled over. That must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop before. Yes, that's right. It's a very powerful vessel after all. When the engines are thrown into reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over. Okay, so if the ship stops, like the bolt just slides. Yes, it's what's known as the force of inertia acting on objects. What's inertia? Well, whatever it's called, the same force that pushed over those books on the bookcase also made something else in this cabin move, which is the bolt. The bolt on the cabin door. It was very obvious just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We had come into this cabin not long before and we hadn't bolted the door. But then... Is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance. Inspector Hosonaga. Oh yes. That's it. When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door. It's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed. Or the force of inept. No, you're inept. Are you trying to say that last night, after Mr. Asogi was killed? The SS Buria made another emergency stop. But how come nobody... When I woke up this morning, look around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the ornaments. It was almost as someone had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over. Oh yes, I remember that. And I stood them all up again, didn't I? When we came into this cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over just like in Mr. Asogi's cabin. Oh my. Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova? Are you out of your mind? You say Buria made emergency stop? It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room? Oh, it is simple enough. It's the logs. Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? Used to trigger the emergency alarm? Oh yes, of course. There was a notice, wasn't there? Telling you only to press the button in times of emergency. On dark nights when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity. Wait, it was you! When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interest of safety. The emergency alarm bell rings and the vessel comes to a complete stop. The alarm bells did not ring. Not that I know of. Mr. Sholmes, surely it wasn't you who... As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life, to be pressed. Whatever the occasion. Oh, what does this button do? He sounds almost proud of himself. How dare you mess with ship? I report you to Captain. You are in much trouble now. Now, I'm sure all that can wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learned a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin door slide close. So, what we must now consider... Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Asogi, did this ship make an emergency stop or did it not? You're idiots. Buria is huge ship with many passengers. If we make emergency stop even in middle of night, there would be chaos everywhere. What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea. It's the logs. What evidence, Mr. Naruhodo? Fascinating. Do show us, my good man. What evidence promotes the theory that some emergency gripped this vessel last night? It's the logs.
Yes!
Seaman Stroganov. It's your duty to patrol the first-class area of the ship, isn't that right? That is correct. Why? In the ship's log here, this would be where you record the details of your duties. What are you doing with that? That is mine. You rather carelessly left it atop the little makeshift bureau in the passageway out there. But as responsible passengers, we took it into our care with a mind to return it to you later. I left it there on purpose. That is where I put it always. The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances, you write the phrase nothing to report every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all. Nothing recorded in the log? That is because nothing happened. But if nothing happened, you would normally write nothing to report, wouldn't you? Indeed so, which tells us that shortly after 2 a.m., something happened here aboard the SS Buria. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact. Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night? Stop talking rubbish. If I'm perfectly honest, I find that a little hard to believe myself. Oh, why? Well, because if something as major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed. That's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop experience earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine that anybody would sleep through that even if it happened in the dead of the night. Well, no, that's a good point. What off? The throbbing. Sorry, what do you mean? Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We have all suffered with it. Oh yes, I have had a headache, you're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn. Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected. He's right, my head's been throbbing today too. And since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of hazy. Everything has been... Oh my god, has all the food been drugged? Everything has been drugged. I can't really remember everything that happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. Then the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. I had already been dragged out of the wardrobe and had those handcuffs put on me by that point. Why didn't I wake up when all that was happening to me? Yeah, everyone has been drugged. Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, you boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, well, yes, sorry. The stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Well, Kazuma looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it. Yes, in fact, I had all of that. Kazuma wasn't fond of chicken. Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all? That's right, he didn't touch it. Is that relevant? Everyone is drugged. My dear fellow, does that not strike you? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken? I do. No, really, is that really true? The meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Tampered with by the addition of a soporific designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it. A sleeping drug. Do you mean whoever did this laced every meal with a sleeping drug so no one would notice the ship's emergency stop? Mr. Naruhodo, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What a far-fetched idea. Precisely. Lacing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific drug would certainly be impossible. Unless it's planned. Every single member of the crew was a conspirator. What? Mr. Sholmes! Well, seaman? Eh. I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. Oh, the ship made a stop and then Pavlova boarded while the ship was stopped. That's why. If you refuse to talk, there would have to be an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And were that to happen, every member of the crew and the captain himself would be hauled over the coals for aiding and abetting a renegade. Please, no more. I will tell everything. Eh? I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore. These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe. Yes, so when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me. We all agreed to help, everyone together. She threw away everything, her fame in the ballet, Maderasha. We wanted to help our angel. I don't believe it. Why was Hosonaga also drugged? You were right, we put sleeping drug in chicken last night. Yes, I remember now. I did notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point. We could not make all drug, how do you say, dissolve? Talk about heavy seasoning. At midnight in waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. She was helped by comrade on shore with small fishing boat. While all the passengers of the SS Bury slept soundly, thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion their evening meals had contained. So if that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, people who disliked chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. And that means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Kazuma's cabin door. But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case and there would have been complete chaos. Oh, I wouldn't say so. Of course, just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabins, after which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the drug. Then they lock their doors before they go to sleep. Right? The overwhelming majority of passengers would habitually sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway. And so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning. You have talked long time and said many things. What is point? The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. All told, a busy night. But I don't know about any of this. I'm just a little girl. I like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am sailor, and so sailors don't listen to long, boring stories we don't believe. Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes. A laudable trait. I'm quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruhodo. Do you hear it? The accusatory cry of guilt on the wind. What accusatory cry of guilt? Sorry, you've lost me. Proof of involvement, man, but you can't hear such a call with your ears. It was the snake. You must hear it with your eyes, for observation is the basis of all deduction. Is the snake here in the... What are you talking about? I believe the time has come for one final logic and reasoning spectacular! So, Mr. Naruhodo, your assistance, if you please. With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes? With observation, my dear fellow, just as I said, of these two prevaricators, observation. If you remember, Mr. Naruhodo, we know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? By tampering with the scene of Mr. Asobi's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened. Precisely, you're delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. Alright, I'll see what I can see. So we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Kazuma died. What suggests what someone was there at the scene? Oh my god, there's ink. My god, I freaking hate this camera. Oh, look at this. It's some kind of stain in an unusual place. Yes, you're right. It looks like ink, if I'm not mistaken. Ink. And look at the color too. It's clear where this came from. Okay, ink stain. Okay, what else can I observe? Chunky arms. Okay, let's... He has arms like tree trunks, doesn't he? Hairy tree trunks. Yes, he certainly has sailor's arms. He's born man of the sea. Even if I had been awake, I couldn't have done anything about being dragged out of that wardrobe by this man. Naruhodo-san, are you alright? You seem to be lost in thought. Oh, sorry. Blame those hairy tree trunks. She has something in her pocket. Yeah, that was the article that we've, like, checked earlier. Oh my freaking god, this fucking camera. Yeah, no worries. This is the article that we've, like, checked with her earlier when we discovered that she's not the fake Russian guy. And yeah, we can't, like, zoom into anything. Alright, so yeah, it's his hairy forearms. Fine, ink stain.
Yes!
It's your forearms! I'm out of it because my forearms aren't hairy. Seaman Stroganoff. You seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there. Eh? Ah, yes, I don't know where the dirt comes from. So nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain. What are you trying to say? It would appear that the significance of this stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain. It's a very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform. And I think what made it is clear. Indeed it is. So Mr. Naruhodo, present the evidence that proves it. My pleasure. Alright then. The evidence that proves what that stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform is... the crime scene photograph.
Yes!
Yes, it's this photograph and the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform. Ink. A rather unusual color of ink, purple. Ah! The penny drops at last. Now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of your uniform is ink of exactly the same color. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't be It couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way. Which means you must have been present at the cabin in the moments immediately after the ink was spilled. Alright, yes. It was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in dead student's cabin to make it look like Wardrobe Man did it. Then I pressed button to make Bure do emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. I did everything so no one would suspect our angel. Biff, please. Don't worry, Angel. Let me do talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. She was white like sheet. Biff, please, you must help me. I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw a student boy on floor. Wow, what happened here? Please, don't tell anyone. My little one. Biff Stroganoff, great names in this game. And Naruhodo, of course, which means of course. Yep. Yeah, this is like the prequel to the actual Ace Attorney games. And in the actual Ace Attorney Japanese version, Phoenix Wright's name is Naruhodo. So, yeah. And yeah, the names are definitely puns. So if you were here in the first case, you would also see the pun names there. And also actually in the other Ace Attorney games, a lot of the names are puns. Sometimes it's cringe, sometimes it's very good puns. So yeah. Yeah. My little one, my little furry friend. Everything happened in cabin is like Angel told you. The kitten escaped through vent into Mr. Asogi's cabin. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell to the floor. That wasn't Biff. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell on the floor. Yes, that's right. So after the incident when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova then visited the cabin next to hers, only to find its occupant lying lifeless on the floor. She said she was worried. She said she was worried when she heard the sound of something falling on floor. That's when she went to look. No, Angel? The door was not locked, so she opened to look and you already know what happened after. There's just one thing, if you wouldn't mind. What? When you went to Mr. Asogi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Why? I already told you. When Nina opened door of student's cabin and looked inside, I was asking Miss Pavlova. Well, Miss Pavlova? That's Da. I'm assuming that's Da. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you. So is that finally it now? Have we discovered the real truth about Kazuma's death at last? Something very nearly slipped my mind. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. This photograph. Yes, I took this myself, you know. The cause of death was a broken neck, therefore the victim died instantly. And the unfortunate incident that precipitated these events occurred on which the victim stumbled. However, if those are the facts, there is one particular area in this photograph that seems somewhat unnatural. What do you mean unnatural? The writing. What are your thoughts on the matter? I probably need to save scum here. Oh well. If Kazuma tripped and fell and by some terrible stroke of bad luck broke his neck, which part of this photographic print seems unnatural? It's obviously the writing, right? Okay, my thoughts are his left hand is clasped. Because if you're falling, there's a chance you want like to shield your fall or at least break your fall by having your palms open, right? Or this writing. Okay, yes! I'm going with this hand. This word in Russian clearly wasn't written by Kazuma. Alright, okay, so if you're looking for something unnatural, that's the obvious point. Very true, it's certainly peculiar, but it's not what I meant by unnatural, I'm afraid. That particularly crass detail was orchestrated by the culprit. I meant to identify another point. Oh, I see. Imagine, if you will, losing your foot. Yep, okay. Yeah, it's his left hand that's clasped. In my opinion, if you landed as the victim appears to have done here, it would be most unnatural. I'm sure you'll reach the same conclusion. How thoughtful you are, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you for your gentle guidance. Okay, at least I'm not penalized for that. If Kazuma tripped and fell and by some terrible stroke of bad luck broke his neck, which part of this photographic print seems unnatural? Alright, it's his left hand. Oh, he must have picked up the bell?
Yes!
Alright, if you really fell through the unfortunate accident, then this fist just doesn't seem quite right. The exact same thought occurred to me. In a fall once, I was right! The earring, I'd assume. He has an earring? Yet here, the bell's already accounted for. Oh. You're right. There was probably the other half of the other earring. Yet here we see the victim with his left hand slightly balled into a fist. Almost, you might say. As though he were griping something. What do you mean? Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. Oh, he might have it. And what, pray, do you imagine I found there? My dear fellow? Mr. Sholmes, show us, please. Why, of course, my dear madame. Would I keep you in suspense? You were right, damn it. This is what I found. Oh, a crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle. Yes, you're right, a crescent moon. It's very pretty, but what does it tell us? It tells us nothing. I'm not so sure. That crescent moon looks... It looks familiar somehow. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. Observation, Mr. Naruhodo. That is the key. The truth is now tantalizingly close. How did that crescent moon come to be in Kazuma's clenched fist? This is the final clue, the last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? And observe, find the answer with your own eyes. Oh, it's the chunky arms. Sometimes things are relevant in ways that it's hard to imagine. Perhaps you should check. These are just 3 drunks, nothing more. You should be looking elsewhere, I think. Can I check the left ear? Yep, alright. She has such petite ears. It's the same dialogue as earlier. There's something dangling. Yep, alright. It's a crescent moon. Okay. So the crescent moon is from the right ear. Or the left ear. No, the right ear. Left ear. Right ear. My other right. Like little pink shells. Oh, what's that? Yep. An earring. Alright. So now that's that. So now all that's left is the clasp part that attaches to the ear. That's the case. She doesn't appear to have noticed that it's broken. Okay.
Yes!
Miss Pavlova, I noticed that on your ear, even though you have a metal earring, the decorative part of it seems to be missing. The little link holding it on must have broken, I suppose. What? But looking at your other ear, I notice a crescent moon. Ah! I don't believe it. Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there is only one logical conclusion. Oh my god, she pushed him. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. Miss Pavlova, Mr. Asogi must have grasped that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. Perhaps just moments before he fell to the floor. In other words, last night in Mr. Asogi's cabin, you witnessed the moment where the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length from him. But then the question is, why did Mr. Asogi do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during his final moments? Oh no. Angel. No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma? Ah. Shit. Breakdown scene. When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away, the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb into this huge ship, and then when I was last in this cabin and I could relax after this horrible long day. Darka, wait! I couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving her favorite toy, but nothing worked. Darka would not come back. Knock, knock. Oh, so the door was bolted in the first place. No, wait. Clunk. Oh, wait. Yeah, she opened it. What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh. I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. The young man from your country, he was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Darka, and he promised not to tell anyone. But then when I had my friend in my arms again and I was going to leave the man's cabin... Just a moment, sorry, but... Oh, yes? I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before. Of course. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina. Huh? No, I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land in the faraway east know a Russian ballerina? Maybe because of the meringue cake? Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But what are you doing on this ship? I'm sure I read that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment. I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice. I see. So you've run away. Please, keep my secret. Don't tell anyone. Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. Oh, then he's going to pull that cord. He's going to tell that captain. Why did I think I could trust him? Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait! And then... Meow. Darka jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet. And... as he turned around to look at me... Ouch. You pushed him. I don't even know why. I don't even know why I did it. I was just so scared. And I had to stop him from telling anyone about me. But I thought you were in cahoots with the captain. And that's when you went to fetch help from Seaman Stroganoff, who was on duty in the passageway. I heard Nina cry out and thud on floor, so I ran to her. She was standing at cabin door shaking like leaf. She looked at me and said, "Help me, Biff. If they find out, I will be... Please, I have nowhere to go." So you decided to help, and that's when you arranged things in Kazuma's cabin to make it look like I did it. So that no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door? Yes. I went into cabin and I looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. And then I found Stowaway, in wardrobe, still sleeping. Right, that's when he found me. So you worked out a plan to lay the blame on the Stowaway. I closed wardrobe drawers and took that strange paper sign. Luckily for me, that's the only reason Susato-san started to believe me when I said I was innocent. I dragged young man's body to good place and used ink that was spilling to write on floor. I wrote something so that person who found him would look inside wardrobe to find Stowaway. And tell me, what of the glass bell? It was by my feet, so I picked it up. I see. But it was dark in the cabin, I didn't notice the other half. Then Angel went back into her cabin and I finished job. By pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway? Yes. Accordingly, the SS Buria did indeed come to an emergency halt a little after 2 a.m. Thus enticing the bolt on the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery. There's still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova. What? Well, you said that you told Kazuma about the fact that you'd run away from your homeland. And it's because you were worried that he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right? But even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem? It was what he said first that made me scared. What he said first? What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh. Oh. I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. He said an inspector was his friend. Ah yes, meaning me, who was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard. I thought that if police knew about me, they would arrest me. So before he could pull the bell cord, you pushed him. May I stop you a moment, please, Miss Pavlova? It just doesn't seem to make sense. Okay, how did he grab his earring? I mean, was Mr. Asogi really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, I'm not Kazuma, so I can't know for certain, but... he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done. Okay, he was gonna tell Ryu here. Ryu, whatever. Alright, ads will start in a few seconds. I'll probably just let that run because I'll probably end shortly after this case. No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make them send me back. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, the day's work is not yet done, it seems. There is one more deduction to make. One more spectacular deduction. Woo! Another deduction. What action was the victim really about to take at that moment? Can we determine whither the young man's gaze was directed? It's the wardrobe, definitely. First, consider the victim's location within this cabin. That's easy, I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes. Spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still, that cabin has been my home for this entire voyage. So this is how the cabin looked last night when Miss Pavlova visited Kazuma-sama. Yes, it's exactly how it was. Are you ready then, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. There's one thing I've learned today. It's that a simple gaze can reveal all manner of truths. Not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out by even a little bit when you're following the gaze to where it lands. So, when he turned away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly was Kazuma looking at? Okay. The wardrobe. My wardrobe. I was in there at that time, of course, sleeping soundly. Too soundly. If only I hadn't eaten that chicken that was laced with that sleeping drug. If only he'd woken me up. Yeah, he was trying to wake you up. Okay, let's examine the rest. The bell cord. So Miss Pavlova thought that he was just coldly ignoring her request and going to pull the cord. But the Kazuma I knew would never have done something like that. No, I'm sure of it. Okay, how about the bed? His bed. I remember him being annoyed about the pillow. He said it was too thin. Didn't he put that big thick book of Japanese law underneath it? In fact, perhaps he was thinking of looking something up. Either that or talking to Miss Pavlova made him actually tired. Pillow perfectionist. There's an achievement for that, really. Okay, it's the wardrobe.
Take that!
Take that! Considering everything that had happened last night, certainly it may have looked as though Kazuma's going to ring the bell cord. Yes, however, what is directly beside the bell cord? The wardrobe. The wardrobe? And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly. Ah! Miss Pavlova, please think back very carefully. What were Mr. Asogi's exact words last night? Give me a moment, I could use another opinion here. Another opinion? Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No, Mr. Asogi intended to consult his close friend on the matter. To see if, between them, they might be able to help in some way, no doubt. Oh no! Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. But I wish you had made sure of what Mr. Asogi was looking at. Things may have ended very differently if you had. Miss Pavlova. By the way, from those coming back from ads, welcome back. I do apologize for that, but it's Twitch being Twitch. If you don't like ads, I suggest you just get Turbo. You'd get more value from that. Anyway, I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But unfortunately, the truth is a man lost his life because of what you did. And that will never change. I hope you will never forget that. I'm sorry. Really, I'm so sorry. What have I done? And so, at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Buria was finally laid to rest. That was it. Okay, there's like a conclusion or something. 9th January, 7:14 p.m. SS Buria First Class Cabin Passageway. What will happen to Miss Pavlova now then? Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard. What about the fact that she ran away from Russia? Won't the Russians try to repatriate her? Apparently, the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort all that out. Mr. Sholmes can do that? So she won't be going back to Russia then? No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's an exile for life. I see. I'm sorry. Seaman Stroganoff. I wanted to help our angel no matter what. But I didn't think about you, about how you lost good friend. I will go with Nina. I will give myself to British police. That's kind of you. He's an accomplice. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Kazuma's death feels like such a waste. But... well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you? Da. Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan. Yes, I did stow away after all. I couldn't really expect any different. So you should get back to your cabin now. Looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it's even begun then. Wow, he's back in the first class cabin, really? To think that only days ago, Kazuma and I were laughing together about how we'd tear up the streets of London. That seems like a distant memory now. Oh, what's that? Is it someone weeping? Oh, Susato. Susato-san. Wasn't that the scene of a crime? Why is it now clean? Naruhodo-san, I didn't know you had returned. Oh, well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Asanagi just told me I should pack, you know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that. I still can't believe this has happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over just like that. Susato-san. He had such grand ideas for this visit to Great Britain, so many dreams, and now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible. But now we know the truth, that it was just an accident. Just a silly series of mishaps. It's too much, Naruhodo-san. It's just too much. Yes, I know. I wish there was something I could say. Sholmes... oh, okay, it's... My duty was to see Asogi-san safely to Great Britain. But I failed, and caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I've let everyone down. And I will do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. And I'm free again now, at least... huh? It's Sholmes. Oh my god. This isn't over yet, isn't it? Surprised, Mr. Naruhodo. What is the meaning of this? Oh, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head, I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. Sorry? So I decided to restore them for old time's sake, shall we? You're a stowaway after all. He thinks this is funny. Mr. Sholmes, we do appreciate all your assistance. I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Not at all, not at all. And though it's a little late, may I offer my sincere condolences? The loss of your companion is truly heart-rending. I hope that you'll be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor. I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened. What? Wait a minute, it's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was the stowaway. Oh, not her too. The terms of this study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was to be 1 lawyer and 1 assistant. Was to be? In the light of Mr. Asogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid that the study tour can no longer go ahead. Oh no, I don't care for me, but... Poor Susato-san. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is 1 lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely? But there is no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. Qualifications, you say? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid. Oh, but anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. Take the chick, not Phoenix. Oh, they're gonna suggest Ryu, right? Miss Osato? Yes. Do you think perhaps I might... Oh, now he's lifting his own chair, right? I might be able to do it. Ah. But you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, unless... Are you studying law? Yes, I am, duh. Wait. I am. No, I'm not, but... I'm sorry. In that case... Wait, aren't you studying law? I don't think there's even a chance it could work. But as I said, there is still more than a month before we reach England's shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Alerta así? No hablo español, Aniv. Yes, I have a month in which to study, to learn what I must to become a lawyer in Great Britain. Mr. Naruhodo, that's ridiculous. Are you seriously suggesting anybody could learn all of that in just 40 days? There's only one way to find out. I would work my fingers to the bone, Inspector, every single day. Will you let me try? And if by the time we reach Great Britain I haven't learned enough to become recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. But why put yourself in such a difficult position? For Kazuma, he said that there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyways, it's for my own benefit too. I'll become a lawyer. I have to. What do you say, Miss Susato? This is a long epilogue, if this is the epilogue. And a good-looking sword on the left that totally isn't. I think that's a wonderful idea. Thank you. So, what does our bespectacled inspector friend say? Are you serious? I miss Maya. I want another Ace Attorney game. 1 lawyer and 1 assistant. The numbers are indisputable. No, it's madness. Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree? Fascinating? Duty and rules are the dull routine of existence that we have, that we all abhor. Give us interest, give us fascination. Speak for yourself. Besides, Qualifications are no measure of a man. What matters is his character. No? Wow, for once you have sense. And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes. From the early hours of this morning until this very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion and despite the accusation of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage. Very well, I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice. Inspector! After all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said that I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here. Oh, thank you, Inspector. If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. I need to discuss what to do next and how best to make my report. Yes! Are you really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know, everything about being a lawyer? I would be delighted to help you. I am judicial assistant after all. Thank you. And, Mr. Naruhodo, I'd like you to take charge of this. Are you sure? I'm sure it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. His sword? Its name is Karuma. It's a great sword that's been in the Asogi clan for generations. Very well, I accept. I'll treasure it always. So then, Miss Susato, it seems we'll be working together for some time to come yet. It'll be an honor, Mr. Naruhodo. And for the next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom. We shall fill every spare moment with study. Yes, that's exactly what I need. But before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you two. Goodness, what is it? Please throw me to the ground. What? I should never have doubted you. You were Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course, you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get to the better of me. And no matter how upset I was feeling, I was completely unforgivable behavior. No, you were in shock. You just found out about me stowing away. No, I won't let you make excuses for me. Whatever the circumstances, I should have never thrown you, and not just once, but 5 times. This is just a kid. She's just like 16, right? Please, you must. Just take hold of me and throw me. Do it. Don't even think about it. No. I don't even know how. I'd never throw anyone in my life. Very wise, Mr. Naruhodo. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. I observed your throwing technique several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed. When did he see that? I presume that would be a form of Japanese wrestling. Oh well, in a way, it's not wrestling but my own interpretation of an ancient jujutsu technique. Apparently it's called the Susato takedown. It leaves your head swimming, believe me. How beguiling. I'm a practitioner of the combative arts myself. I am a somewhat accomplished boxer. You're like just rolling your hands like you're in a rave party. There he goes, dancing around again. I wonder if you'd be so kind as to instruct me on the technique of your arresting throw. And then she's gonna like throw me down again. Yes, I'd be honored. Then let us not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madam. Oh, of course. I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry. Hiya! Why me? Best boxing dancing moves. Is that the DGR, please? DGR dance. As you can see, you throw from the abdomen. Oh yes, interesting indeed. Arresting indeed, and that is what you'll term the Susato takedown, is it? Australia mode, I know. Actually, no, that was a Susato squash. You have a second move. And so, in my groggy state of consciousness, a scene from an evening recently spent with Kazuma flickered into my mind. Oh, what's this? Oh my god. Karuma? That's right, it's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. I can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana on a study tour is more than a little irregular, surely. A Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Karuma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two. Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain, and I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course, I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. Why is his headband flowing in the wind inside the locker room? There's a ventilator, remember? There's a ventilator. That important thing he had to do. I still don't know what that was. But I'm going to see the place for myself and work it out. In Great Britain's capital, London. The end. No court case. Wow, I'm surprised. Crash Course Candidate awarded. Obviously, I want to save the case. Adventure of the Runaway Room. Okay, Sholmes is back, really. Alright. That would be it for the night. Because, yeah, it's 10:30 and I still have... Almost 10:30 and I still have work tomorrow. Anyway. Everyone, thank you very much for joining in. I really do appreciate it. So yeah, tomorrow I will be off, but I will be back on Thursday. Whether we will continue this or do Mario Maker Trolls, I do not know. Simply because I have something to do on Saturday and I might need to move my Troll stream on Thursday. Did not have the stream on Saturday, but have my regular schedule next week. We'll see. Alright, yeah, thanks very much. Everyone, don't forget to check out the socials. Yes, I didn't forget to not plug this. Yep, check out the YouTubes. New videos are coming out every day. A new edited video will be coming out tomorrow for 8MMC. Just watch for that. Yeah, and I usually do post more Kaizo shorts every day when I'm not uploading edited content made by Dash. Go check out Dash as well. Anyway, alright, let's find someone to raid. Who is on tonight? Tweet, I'm surprised you're not streaming today. Anyway, alright. Yeah, who could we raid? Let's go check out. God, a lot of people have a lot of viewers tonight. Who is on Ace Attorney? You're French, you're Japanese, you're Chinese. Alright. Let's... I don't know who to raid, actually. Let's probably just raid Drake. Since I think most of you are from SMW anyway, so... Yep, let's just raid Drake. Yep, even though I'm doing the Ace Attorney and he's doing SMW. Yep, let's just trade Dr. Ganda. Anyway, everyone, that would be it. Thanks very much. Have a great rest of your day, rest of your night, and I will see you all next time. Bye.